Get you off, man, because
It's the Marc Clarke Morning Show. Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
And welcome to the Marc Clarke Show. Welcome. Today we're talking about men's health, and actually, I add you, Bootsy. It's one of those. It's a bittersweet morning, Bootsy, because you've heard me talk about my friend Stan in St. Louis, who's a trainer. I always reference him. And Stan, I called Stan this morning, and Stan just lost his brother. And again, Stan has been in the season of, I think you get to a certain age and you start losing people. And Stan has been in that season. Stan is really, in addition to being my friend and he was my trainer, he's my Superman. He's my big brother. He's the guy. And we went through that phase, Bootsy, we've been there before when Superman has a chink in his armor because dealing with loss. And then this morning when I called and I heard that tone in his voice, it was heartbreaking. But in classic Stan fashion, he said, "Let me go ahead and do a quick segment because his brother who passed away did have that." And so Stan is on the line. Stan, are you there, brother?
Yes, I'm here, Mark.
Hey, brother, I'm so.
How's your volume? I can barely hear you.
You can barely hear me. Let's see, how's this? Any better?
Mine's all the way up.
Okay. Um.
The point is, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you, Bootsy. You can hear
All right.
Stan, right?
100%.
Okay, Stan, we got you. We can hear you, brother. So, yeah, man, I'm not going to keep you long, Stan. Again, this is a crazy day, but we were talking about men's health, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, health overall. And here it is once again, we're dealing with passing. So go ahead, Stan. Talk to us about, first of all, condolences to you and your family and your brother and his family. I know this is not the only loss you've had in the you had a lot of losses actually in the last few years. So Stan, as we talk about men's health, tell us about your brother and tell us about what we should be doing to try to hopefully live healthier lives.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for the condolences, brother. Well, basically, where do we start at when it comes to men's health? Something that a lot of men take for granted because every man wants to be Superman. You know, and that's not the case. No man's Superman. And if you want to be a Superman, Superman has his kryptonite. You know, and we think we're vulnerable, but we're not. Speaking about my brother, it was he. He had his ailments. He wasn't a Superman, and he was the type of brother that didn't take care of himself because he got up and lived every day to the fullest. But we got to remember when we live every day to the fullest, we got to take care of ourselves to get the benefit. He was diabetic, doing insulin or what have you. And a lot of people don't understand about diabetes if you don't have it or experience. A lot of people don't understand about diabetes. You and I have talked extensively about diabetes, and it's not just an overweight thing. We think everybody that's overweight is going to come down with diabetes, but my brother wasn't overweight. He was an average 5'9" guy, weighed about 170 pounds, which is good weight for a guy that's 5'9", but he still was diabetic, he didn't take care of himself or what have you. And by me doing the research that I've done over the last 18 years, research shows that most of your diabetics, type 2 diabetics, are going to die of heart failure. And that's what the paramedics said, last night. They worked on him for 18 minutes, hit him with the defibrillator and everything. But They said we couldn't do nothing else, you know. His heart gave out on him, you know. And people have to understand that diabetes is something where blood sugar is always thick, you know. Uh, I'm kind of still out of it because I haven't been to sleep. He died at 1:38 this morning, St. Louis time. I haven't been to sleep, so I'm going to make it short. You know, the heart has to pump the blood. When your blood sugar is elevated, that means it's thick. It's too thick. That's why you have to go to dialysis. Dialysis machines pull all your blood out of your body, filters it, takes all the toxins out, puts it back in the manner into the body and into the manner which it belongs, which is a lot thinner so that it can filtrate throughout the body. But the heart has to pump that blood from the toes to the head. That's a lot of pumping. The heart never stops. From the day we're born to the day we die, the heart never stops. But the heart gets worn out too. Yeah, everything wears out. You know, I'm about to be 63 years old and I'm starting to feel a lot more aches and pains, but I'm remembering that everything wears out. You know, time is our kryptonite. You know, I tell people time is our kryptonite. You know, when you run out of time, you're out of time. But his time was up last night. You know, my nephew said that he had been walking around the house slow all day, smiling, but he couldn't find rest on the couch or in his bed, so he ended up laying on the floor, and that's where he became irresponsible on the floor. You know, but he had been witnessing pains all day, but wouldn't go to the hospital. So I want to admonish men who, Mark. You know, I used to wear the original Superman shirt 25 years ago. You know, I thought I was Superman until I had the knee injuries. Things slow us down and wear us out, and we have to take measures and precautionary measures to take better care of ourselves. Diabetes is nothing to play with. You know what I mean? I did a seminar a while ago, and I was telling people that if you're diabetic, you should know your end, and nobody wants to talk about their end, but you can prolong your end with doing heart healthy things. You know, heart health nutrients like CoQ10, D-ribose, L-carnitine. These are nature's nutrients that help keep the heart, along with vitamin C. These are nutrients that help keep the heart healthy. You know, and I hope at a later date, maybe after all this in my family's taken care of, I can come back on the show and give you a full briefing and in more detail of how to take care of yourself when you have diabetes and high blood pressure. Because high blood pressure, 90% of the times, accompanies diabetes. You know, when you see one, you see the other. So we have to know the warning signs and take better care of ourselves. I used to think that overweight people are all going to be diabetics, but that's not the case. Because I have some overweight clients who are healthy as a bull. They just want to lose weight. You know, so with that, I just want to admonish the men and women, take better care of yourselves, you know, change your diet. Because if my brother hadn't passed hours ago, we would be talking more on excuse me, I'm sorry about that, man. We'll be speaking more on high blood pressure and other issues, but it just so happened this thing hit home just hours ago. And like I said, I haven't been to sleep or whatever, but I wanted to say something on your show. I didn't want to fully blow you off or cancel my segment on the show.
Look, Stan, look, man, I know you have important things to do. We love you, brother. Be safe. And, we're sending prayers and to your family. And thank you for joining us. But go ahead and take care of business, brother. Take care, bro. Love you.
All right, man. Let's do this again, man, in full fashion, man, when I get this all behind me, okay?
I will do that. All right, brother. Take care. Stan Leroy joining us again from St. Louis. Stan was scheduled to be on the show to talk about men's health. And ironically, sadly, his brother passed this morning at 1:00, man. And Bootsy, that's the thing. Like, I talked about it before, and we talk about men. So Stan, who again is that most of us or some of us have men in our lives that are almost like Superman, and Stan was that guy for me. And Bootsy, after he's had a couple deaths that shook him to the core. His son passed away last year, and now his brother. And he was, for the first time I saw him, he's Mr. Energy. He's Mr. Fitness. He's 60, he said 62. His body fat percentage probably is around 4 or 5%. He's rocked up, always has been. But he was down. He was in that funk. And I really didn't know, Bootsy, I didn't know what to say. Because again, he was always Superman. And I think that happens a lot with men. Number one, you're blessed, and I know I'm blessed because I have a lot of men that I can be honest with, that I can share my emotions with, that I can be real with. Some brothers don't have that. Some brothers don't have that release. Some brothers don't have that that valve, that safety valve. Like I was just thinking, Bootsy. So you've seen my journey from a job standpoint. I'm an entrepreneur, but I've had ups and downs and financial this and financial that. And what I don't have that a lot of men have is that pressure from the wife, that judgment from the wife. I have a wife who's just loving and understanding. And that is so powerful because you're already dealing with psychologically, your ability to quote unquote provide and this and that. But to have, if I had the pressure of my wife or her family judging you or commenting, it would be crazy. And I think that also contributes to men, as far as at the end of the day, we as men, and it's not good, we probably evaluate ourselves as how much we make, how much money we earn, how we're able to take care of our kids financially, how we're able to take care of everything financially. And sometimes I don't think we emphasize or understand how being there, being supportive, being there for the kids, being there for the family, being there for your friend, how important that part is. In addition to, Bootsy, the health conversation, right? The health conversation, that's a whole other animal. Again, Stan, that says a lot about my brother. His brother died, but he still wanted to say something on the show because he didn't want to disappoint me. That says a lot about his character. And that's that guy who's in my life. But so Bootsy, it's interesting. You're a twin. You have your children. You have a son. You as a man, what are the challenges that you face? And again, 2-time cancer survivor, and even this day that Stan's looking at, Bootsy, I think you've been there before. When somebody in the family passes and you happen to be the guy like Stan that everybody leans on, you have to not only process the loss of your brother, you have to now be strong for everybody else and probably help everybody else navigate everything. And that with that comes stress too. What do you say, Bootsy?
Yeah, that was a lot. So I'm just trying to process it right now. So, I have an older brother who passed away in 2015. I got another brother right now who's battling stage 4 cancer. So it was a lot, like just trying to process, because I could really hear it in his voice. I come on here with energy, but that was a lot because I could just hear it. I could hear it all in his voice. I know what that voice sounds like, you know what I mean? But I think what I'm appreciative of, even with our relationship, is that we now have a platform to discuss these issues that a lot of people don't really get to discuss, because a lot of these things can, I think the key word that he said was, a lot of this could be prevented if these steps were taken. So I just think that that it's great that we have these discussions, but I just think also the other point that you just made was, who do you have around you? I was lucky because of 2 things. Number one, I have sisters. I have a great relationship where I didn't have the pressure of having to go out and find money and get a job. I'm telling you, Mark, and I've lived this, I've seen it with other patients in my cancer ward. It's not always the diagnosis. It's the response in your situation, your circumstances, that kind of kills people. I don't think cancer kills people all the time. I think it's the circumstances and the situations and the surroundings. I'm telling you why people, do not believe me. I told you about it. I'll probably never leave Deanwood because the purpose that I serve is deeper than any amount of money. The purpose that you just described with Allison and him being that, me and you are now providing that for other people. And it's important that if you're out there, be careful who you surround yourself around, Know who you can call, know who's going to help you, because all that seeps into your mental. And what happens is your response to it. And please, I've been I'm in a new phase in my life right now that is so interesting. We have this conversation because you talked to me about something yesterday about the expectation I need to have for that broadcast, about because they're moving. Now, the interesting thing is when I first created this program, it was just a safe haven to be a pillow for people. I just wanted to connect people with people like Allison and Donnie and even people like you to build them. Now I'm in a situation where I got to be other things. Literally, I have had to have discussions with my freshmen before they leave about, and this might, and if I go too deep with this, just say, hey, it's too much.
That's what it's
okay.
For.
Literally about 2 months ago, I got 2 kids in my school from my program that are now freshmen at North Carolina Central. I had to have a conversation with them in September about having boys in their dorm room every day, to where I had to get on the FaceTime and be like, hey, I'm tired of calling y'all, and y'all got boys. It's like a party in here. Y'all just got there. I've also had to have this discussion about who you lay down with, and do you know the repercussions of what the long-term effect is. Sometimes we live in an over-sexualized world with these teens, but we don't tell them what the consequences could be from some of these actions. When you're a teen and you're doing adult decisions, these adult decisions can carry you down the line. And the key point about that is, even when you're young, I think we need to start emphasizing on, even with young girls, be careful who you laying down with. You need to do a little bit more observation on who you around. My father died about I would say 6 months into me being in Donnie, he died. But one of the last conversations he had was, he said, look, man, be careful what you're doing. And I want you to know this. Before you really decide when you go in a relationship, go observe their family. Go observe the family dynamic. If they're in there fussing, yelling with each other, you know what I mean? And, so the interesting thing is, I'm in a phase now where I am teaching the lessons that you're describing about where you got here. The reason why you're here and I'm here is because we chose good people to build and go with our futures on. And I don't know if sometimes these conversations are discussed with young females, because I've been having to have these conversations. It's so uncomfortable, but I think these discussions are important because the decisions that we make in our 20s, well, who we mate with or who we lay down with, could probably take us out early or take us farther as we go down the line. So I know that was a lot, bro. And you got daughters. So.
Oh no, and you're absolutely right. I remember again, for those who are joining us, we're really having a conversation. It really was going to be about men's health and what men need today. But my guest, my longtime friend, Stan Leroy, lost his brother this morning at 1 a.m. And so Stan did come on and share with us some information about health. But, Stan just kind of came on, just out of respect for me. And so we kind of headed towards this conversation. And I tell you, what you just said, Bootsy, is so important. You're right. Having 3 daughters, what I realize, and again, one of my lessons, like you just said, Bootsy, for success has been selecting the people who are in your life. Now, number one, we were blessed to have, and we talked about this before, we were blessed to have people in our lives to help us understand that. You mentioned that conversation you had. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have that. And so that's the loop. So what happens is when you have people who have this conversation about surrounding yourself by people with character, the kind of people you want to be in your life. Like you said, my mother told me, don't sleep with nobody that you would not marry. Do not sleep with somebody that you wouldn't want to marry, be your wife.
Right.
And so she wasn't, my mom wasn't saying that, she wasn't miss, don't have, whatever. But you're just saying, again, that's a interesting thought, because you see the byproduct of people who obviously don't care, love, respect each other. And then they have a child that they kind of sadly are caught in the middle of their drama. And so you're right. My mother, I was the only child. my mother and the people that surrounded me, number one, they gave me love. So I know what love looked like. I know what love feels like. I know how to love myself. So number one, you have to love yourself. If you love yourself, you're not going to put up with a whole bunch of BS, right? You're just not, you know. Number two, like you said, Bootsy, who are you laying down with, man? My thing was, I did not have drama in my life as a child. It was me and my mother. It was struggle, but it was no drama. My mother never had men around. My mother never, she sacrificed that because she did not want to bring craziness into her household with her son. So she sacrificed that. Her wildness happened away from the house, okay? I now get it. I understand now. Now, was Uncle Charlie really my uncle? No, he was not. I now realize Uncle Charlie, who would come over late at night, and I would just wake up in my bed and not know what happened. He was Uncle Charlie. That was not my uncle. But anyway, like you said, Bootsy, inviting people into your life that have character, that you don't have no hooligans in your life. You know, me and my oldest had a great conversation, you know, because it was this phase. It wasn't a phase. My girls did not go through that phase where they dated wild guys or they had all these crazy. They just didn't. I think a big part of it was because Dr. Green, I see you. They know what love and respect feels like. Mm-hmm. Not to say you don't get caught up though, because you do, but at least if you know what it feels like, you know when it ain't right. Right. Yeah. And I think what happens with the kids like ours that know what it feels like and they know better, they may fall in love with somebody who ain't quite right and they'll hide it from us. That's the part that I see that happen too. Some people don't know. Some people don't know what love is. Some people are in bad relationships, but they're embarrassed and they don't want to share it with their family, their parents, their friends even. They keep it on the down low, the bad side of that person. But at the end of the day, you know, we're just kind of talking about what men need. That was the general conversation. But like you said, Bootsy, the character piece is so important. I don't invite people into my life whose character I do not trust. When I dated people, I never had the drama. I never had the, oh, what you gonna do? I never had that. I didn't, because that's not the person that deserved to have me.
Well, I had them all, Mark, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? I just, we could be cool. We could be friends, but you ain't gonna be my girl, my woman, because my life is a very comfortable, happy, positive vibe. If you had a negative vibe, we're gonna be my woman. If you had a negative vibe, if you had problems, drama, you be my friend, but not my woman. So I kept it a sacred space. And I think
smart man.
That's how you kind of can. And again, it's not for everybody. Some people like a little jive. Some people like a little instability. Some people like a little drama. You know,
a little ratchetness. You know,
yeah. Some people like it like that. I just didn't. I was like, no. And not to say I did not have girlfriends. You know, I had girlfriends and that's when you learn. That's to me, but that's how I looked at it. A girlfriend dating is when you learn what you like and what you don't like. That's right. The whole purpose of dating. Some people take dating like marriage. I didn't do. No. We're dating. So therefore we're not together forever. So that's when you date people to see what you like. Right. Then when you get married, so I see people who are dating and they be buying $1,000,000 gifts and all. We didn't do that. Me and Allison didn't do that. It's happy birthday. Here's a flower. We go to dinner, whatever. But it wasn't about that. It wasn't about flossing while you're dating.
Man.
Now when you're married, that's something different. So I see again, and this isn't for everybody, but that's how I manipulated it. That's how I worked it. I wasn't buying Allison no Birkin bags. We dating. No, we got married, and when I was balling, I did, but not anymore. No, I'm just saying, you know, that wasn't a part of it. It was getting to know the person. It was like, who are you? It wasn't about flossing. It was about humanity and who you are.
Yeah, because when you get older, different things take priority as you get older. You know what I mean? And the thing is, which I'm learning to discuss with my kids, because what I'm dealing with now is they came in at 14. I got one girl who just graduated college 2 weeks. She's 22. She's about to turn 23. And now I got to have different discussions, but I don't know if it's emphasized, one of the greatest quotes I ever heard was Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind & Fire told me, and let me say this, I will not tell you some of the Earth, Wind & Fire stories about how they chose women, because that's a whole nother story. like I could tell you that somebody in Earth, Wind & Fire told me that in Earth, Wind & Fire success, he didn't know how to choose women, so he would walk in the lobby, put his arm out, and the first three that latched on was who he took back to his room. I'm never going to say that. I'm not going to tell you that somebody actually told me that from the minute this song called Reasons came out until 1983, no woman ever told him no. I would never discuss that on this show, Mark. But Ralph Johnson told me, he said, he was like, you got to always use the cost-benefit analysis. Is this person's actions is going to be worth to your benefit? Is the cost of her being around you in your life going to be to your benefit down the line? So I always tell my students about the cost-benefit analysis. Like anything you do, is the cost of what you're going to do really be worth your benefit? And I think at this point in life, we probably should start having these discussions with younger people earlier about the long-term effects. I also say this with my students as well. And this is a true thing. If one of my students who's 16 go out and hit somebody, he's going to be charged as an adult. So you laying down with somebody, possibly potentially creating a life, is going to be an adult situation. So I just think these things need to be really stressed a little bit earlier, especially to younger females, because we live in this microwavable social media. We look good together, power couples. Oh my God. And then more people like you and Allison are not discussed. One of the greatest things I ever saw on TV was you and Allison that did a thing on Fox on Valentine's Day. And you were talking about when how life was going, and when you was not on the big fat morning show, you went from making, I don't want to say the number, but it was over 300, and then you end up making this.
25.
Yeah, but I wonder if people realize in these younger days that maybe their scenario, moving forward. Like if I'm holding you to the standard of just being a great man and a father versus what you can get, because sometimes we don't know what makes a real relationship. So I just think that these things should be discussed earlier. And what I'm learning now is it ain't too early to have these discussions with these teenagers.
Oh no,
it's not, bro. Like
no, I think sadly with the phone, not sadly, but with the phone, just think about it, Bootsy. They have access to porn. They have access to not only adult conversations, they are more savvy. When I say savvy, I'm just saying, exposure to
access to more.
I remember when Nicki Minaj came out, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want my kids to know what a menage a trois is. You know what I mean? Like her name is grown, right?
Right.
And so that was then. Now, oh Lord, these kids are exposed to, that was what now 10, 15 years ago. Wow. Now kids are exposed to everything. And it's just you're right, having the conversation and being honest. I think you have to just come real with your kids. And our generation sometimes would almost shudder by what we say to them, but keeping it real, keeping it real. Spectre TV said, I walked away from a $375,000 job in media, just was discussed about the negative work environment. Go ahead, Spectre Nation, amen. You walked away, baby. Hey, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to walk away, but sometimes it takes more to stay. Sometimes it takes more to stay. Mm-hmm. And let's keep it real. Now, money is a powerful, it's hard. It's hard to deal with not having money. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Spectre Nation, when you make over a couple $100,000, it's a different ball game from a standpoint of it's so much more than the average. So in other words, when you made over $300,000, a $70,000 job, you'd be like, you know what I mean? And so it's interesting. It's a whole different dynamic. Okay, Dr. Green. I was just thinking about that today. We need to spotlight more couples who have persevered. Real image of, yes, confirmation, Dr. Green. Let's go.
Let's go, Doc.
Yes,
Mark, Mark, and here's the thing. The thing about money, I think that should be discussed, because I think people need to understand that money is not to be worshipped. Money really is a tool. You know what I mean? I think people need to understand the real purpose of money when you're in a team relationship situation. It's, it's people worship money. People work, but trust me, Mark, I can tell you this right now. I've been around millionaires who had all the money in the world.
Yes.
And was not like I have been around people. I've seen two people that had billions upon millions, and one of them couldn't even feed himself with his Parkinson. So I think people need to understand the purpose of money as well. Money is a tool. It is an asset, especially like you cannot be, no real good relationship worships money. No. So I just people need to understand, once again, where do you plan to go long term with the situation? Because the money stuff will really go out. The material stuff will go, like you just said, man, I'm not buying Allison no Birkin bag, but she probably wouldn't want the Birkin bag. She probably said, what are you buying?
Well, that's the funny part. Allison wasn't even in. See, she hates when don't nobody tell Allison I said this, but
don't get me on her bad side. Lord, I need
at the height, when I was making, the 300 plus, every holiday I would buy her a bag. And the thing is, that was cool, but Allison's the type that she won't even spend $100 on some shoes, right? So it's like, she hates when I. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is, you're right. At the end of the day, no, Allison Knight likes nice things. Facts. Everybody does. She would love a Birkin bag if it made sense, but that's not what it was about for her. You know what I mean? That's not what it was about for her. She thinks when I say it, she thinks it comes off as she doesn't like nice things. That's not it. It's just like you said, that's not what she's putting her faith in. You know what I mean? Right. But she does like nice things. And so, and you're right, Bootsy, the kids are so blinded. Like you see, again, like let's look at watches, right? I got married in a fake Rolex, right? I had no idea how much a Rolex even costs. You know what I mean? So I again, now that's the part about also with relationships, finding people who you're similar with. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think me and Allison are similar in that we like nice things. I will have a Rolex one day, but I'm not driven by that. You know what I mean?
Right.
When we get this year, I'm going to make over $1 million. Okay. I'm already claimed it. Okay. When we make millions though, so interesting. We were talking to our finance guy yesterday. And you know how you'd be like, what you gonna do if you make $1 million? Well, first of all, talking to our finance guy, Bootsy, all those plans about what we're gonna do got shut down because our savings is not big enough. So if I got $1 million today, it would go right into savings because that's what we're gonna live off when we retire. You know what I mean? It's like you said, a real conversation about real things. So yeah, it ain't about you get a couple $1 million, we're gonna go buy that watch that Jay-Z has that's worth like $300,000. No, gonna have 3 kids in college and Sydney's going to medical school. That money would go into, we do have a trust, it would go into, we do have whole life insurance. So, that money is going to go there. And that's what people do for real. Like when you're having real conversations, right. Not when you're out there fronting on Instagram about all you have. Now, when you're super, super wealthy, it's a different ball game.
But can I ask you a question, though? Can I ask you a real question? In 2022, do we really need watches, something to tell us time on a watch? Do we really? Like when I look at it, I'm like, I be thinking about, it's like, what would I really need a watch for at this point?
Well, flossing.
That's it.
Yeah, but it's almost like cars. If that's what you're into,
I got you.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Like DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled, he switches up every day. It went from kind of like he was giving out positive messages to now he's flossing, which okay, do you, brother? And so he's this watch he has and the shoes. He's into the shoe thing. I miss the shoe thing. That's not my thing. Some of you guys, some of y'all are into the shoe thing. I'm not into the shoe thing. Some people are into cars. Some people are into watches. My thing is, if you're into that, I'm more intrigued if you really are into it and you share how you share something versus you just flossing. You know what I mean? Like I got this.
Say, look at me. Ooh, look at me.
Yeah,
ooh,
I got this. You don't have it. Versus right. I like this shoe because I like this watch because you know what I'm saying. But that just feels like back to we talked about Bootsy. I think that comes from because we come from to me a grown up perspective. You
right.
know, even homes. This amazing, beautiful home. Let me tell you why I love this home and why I love my pool. I like that more than I got this and you don't. It's kind of like, that seems so immature.
Yeah, but especially in our ages now, I would love to share some news with you, Marc Clarke. You ready for this?
Bootsy, somebody said you need to move from that your lighting. But anyway, go ahead. Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, don't do it now. But this, Spectre Nation, that's Spectre Nation's pet peeve.
Okay.
But then again.
So yesterday I had one of the most amazing days I've had in a long time. Funny thing happened, Marc Clarke. You gave me a great conversation about broadcast journalism, teaching games, commentating and all that. 20 minutes later, I get a call from the CIAA Black Television Network broadcast company. And guess what they have done?
What have they done? They
have invited me and my kids to sit in at the CIAA telecast and even commentate half of a game this week.
Wait a minute. Look at God. God is working, boy. We just got off the phone.
It's right after we got off the phone. Bro, literally after you got off the phone, they called me. But that ain't all that happened yesterday.
Oh, snap. Keep it going. Keep the blessings coming.
Keep it going. And trust me, I'm going to need your help with this one. So, my old radio station called me from Charlottesville, Virginia, 101.3 Jams. You know, they told me, we heard that you did not get the job that I was up for. I guess everybody saw it, people, know. So everybody was wondering about that. They offered me to do the midday show, 10 to 3 from home. And a funny thing happened, Mark. Guess what?
You said yes.
I said yes.
Come on now.
I even tried to pass it off. I said, I know this great guy by the name of Mark. They like, oh, cool, stop. They know you already down here, Bootsy. They liked you down here. You did the morning show down here. You were the person that kicked the radio station off. Look, man, you could do it from home. So starting April the 1st, I'll be doing the midday show in Charlottesville.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. Over abundance of blessings. There's the unlimited blessings, Bootsy. Unlimited. Yes.
So the first thing and mind you, I was going to call you right afterwards because I need to learn how to do what you do on your R&B 101 with the roll passer, how you send them breaks off. I got to learn that immediately because they would like for me to have 10 breaks by Monday already ready. So I better, I got to get to work.
I got you, man. Look, man, everybody, let me tell you something. Everybody who's watching this in real time or later on, I don't care what you're going through. I know the feelings when you are in that space. I'm in it right now. Car possibly repossessed, mortgage due, phone cut off, Marc Clarke show, stream, whatever, your payment didn't go through. When you're in that space, don't ever give up. Know that the blessing is coming. No.
Because you literally talked me off the ledge last week. Like literally, when I got the news about me not getting that situation, you had to be like, man, don't worry about that, man. It's like, that's why I'm so happy to tell you is because twice in 2 weeks, in 1 week, you didn't talk me off the ledge and got me focused on it. You know what I mean?
Let's go. Like Doc says, who got next? It's if you're feeling like you're on the edge, it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. Your win, everybody wins. Your win got me excited about winning. Everybody's gonna win. It's just that you have to keep on. Look, Dr. Green. Don't get when you're in that space, don't give up. That's right. And look, I've been in the space so often that I take it as a sign. I take it as a sign. And so your win to me is a sign, Bootsy. And again, you deserve it. That's the other part. You've been out here dropping jewels every day. You've been motivating kids every day. You deserve it. And I think everybody has to, I'm saying throw away the perspective, because some people have it, and especially a lot of us black folks brought up in the church. We have the I ain't nothing but a sinner. Get rid of that, and get the I deserve it. It's mine. Yeah. You're made in God's image. He wants you to win. You are a winner.
Yeah,
So that whole, you know,
but also, I just think with your lesson that you've been teaching people as well is just stay in the mix, and you know what I mean.
in the mix,
Stay
baby.
in the mix. You know,
Yep.
in life, just as Black people, you cannot really take on a defeatist attitude. You can't
No.
throw your hands up and be like, "Man, it didn't work out." Because last week I had threw my hands up on Really Radio. I was like, you know what? I don't even care no more. Like, literally, Mark, I had threw my hands up.
Come
I
on
said,
now.
you know what? I'm over it. I literally had in my mind. Now I'm doing other stuff. Now I'm already over it.
Right.
And mind you, I would have never applied for no 10 to 3 slot on the radio. I would have never, dog. I would have never applied for that ever. I would have. He just forced me to do it. But it's going to show you that as long as you stay in the mix, you keep creating. Because I was really inspired by your journey last year, from you doing the weight loss thing, the surgery, to being on TV. Like, to me, that was a lot to take in. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just think there's so many lessons to learn. Never throw your hands up and see what's out here for you. Because I jumped into this broadcasting, commentating basketball games 3 weeks ago. They called me. I'm like, yeah. Now I'm gonna be on ESPN Saturday calling the game. Like, man, I don't even know what to say, Mark. Like, I'm like,
come on now. I mean, hey man, look. At the end of the day, like Ronnie said, consistency. And I love what you say. Just get in the mix. I've learned that one. Just get in the mix. Just move. Just do something.
Yeah.
Just move something. Because the stopping, when you stop, the stagnation piece can't create anything. But when you move, you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. You never know who's motivated. You never know who's touched. You never know, you know, even yourself, you discover something about yourself. So like, what happens is, and then when you're talking about it, hold
on. I'm not going nowhere. That show is pre-recorded. You'll see me here every day at 10 o'clock. Believe me on this 10 o'clock bell time has been great for me, really. Like, me being here at 10 o'clock is great. I'll never leave. Mark gonna have to fire me. You'll see me here.
Well, the good thing, and something that Bootsy, Lorenzo Ice T Thomas, shout out to Lorenzo Ice T Thomas, 100 Hip Hop and R, the afternoon show on there. Look, it's the middays, Bootsy, which is interesting is, go ahead, Dr. Green got another jewel there. Living water supposed to flow. Come on now. You're a living flow of water. Don't stay stagnant. I'm stealing that one, Doc.
I love you, Dr. Green.
So the middays are turning into the new mornings.
That's what he told me yesterday.
Isn't that something? Because Lorenzo said, because, you know, me and Allison doing the show on his format, we do the afternoon show, and he was like, you guys would be perfect in the middays because the mornings are almost, middays are kind of turning into mornings because more people are at work, people are busy, and so they have more time to listen to those kind of extended breaks and things that you do. So as a morning guy doing middays, that's the new move. They figured it out. They got it. I love it. Dr. Green, we love you too. And Doc, we need to get you on an update for our Veguary. So tomorrow, Bootsy, you know, maybe even tomorrow I have a 10:15 interview, so we'll hop on at 10, and you know, you might have to hold it down. Over. Yeah,
I'll take over. I'll run it. This is my show tomorrow.
Exactly. So Bootsy, it'll be your show tomorrow. So we'll start it, and then I have like a 15-minute interview. So you'll have the show. Maybe Dr. Green wants to hop on and get caught up on Veguary.
Because you know what this show needs? You know what this show really needs? More Bootsy.
That's what I love. I'm like Bootsy. I'm like those bosses. Well, Bootsy, you know, you really are very braggadocious about your accomplishments.
Hey, let me tell you something. That freaking Kanye West documentary has boosted me. I saw the second one yesterday. Now I'm going back to the old me.
Man, I tell you, it's so crazy with this the Kanye. First of all, to have somebody to have that camera on you when you're dreaming, just like you, Bootsy. Imagine if people had the camera from the first day you got this call to say, "Hey, Bootsy, we want you to your group, your young people, you guys to call the games." To this, it's like it would have been amazing. It's a movie, right? It's a movie because things happen in life, and it is like a movie. He just happened to have the camera with him, and it's just so interesting to see that journey.
Yeah, but I mean, he was really a visionary, because what I got from yesterday's thing was they didn't want to put him out because they felt like he did not fit the image. And he kept telling them, y'all need a person like me on the rock. Y'all got to diversify. You know what I mean? Like nobody was getting it. And like, I didn't know he paid for everything for Through the Wire. I didn't know he was paying, doing beats to pay to do studio time. I didn't know he was stealing studio. Like when I saw, like, man, I mean, it was just amazing. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, not to cut you off, I'm sorry, a lot of us are going to be in a situation where we're going to be the only person that believes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's going to be all our story.
And the crazy part was, and this is back to with Spectre Nation. I don't know if Spectre's still there because he has his own platform, own show. All of us, I know my girl Shaletta's retired. This is what, and the thing about the Kanye thing, if you guys have watched it or even haven't watched it, I'll take the banner off with Stan. The part that's so ironic about Kanye West and everything that he brought was, like you said, Bootsy, for those of us who bought that album, the first album, everything about it seemed so put together, right? So packaged properly. And now we understand it was his vision, right? Yeah. And the company benefited from it. They benefited from it because the assumption is, just like when you work for a company and you put in all this great work and they get the credit, people assume the company did that. If it's a great radio show, if it's a great project, if it's a great whatever, they get the benefit from your genius. That's why it's so important that you can work for a company, but you also are putting out your own thing and putting out your own energy, because now you have a platform to do it. You know, you can do it if it's on Etsy, if it's on We Buy Black, if it's on your own app, if it's on your own platform, your own website, you know, because these companies, they've been all these years, they benefit. That's why when you join, they sign and take all the rights to your likeness and all this, because they want full credit. And so you look back, like, again, I look back on that, like you said, who knew that when Pharrell listened to Kanye West for the first time as a rapper, little did he know that Kanye would be considered really one of his peers just a few years later in production. And then as a rapper, obviously a superior, you know, artist, you know, but who knew? In that moment, though, that tells you how, again, the genius of Pharrell. He saw it when he heard that. He walked out the room. He went out the room. He was like, he got it. He said in his mind, like, this dude right here is the next thing. He got it, right? But again, Jay-Z and him, they weren't really necessarily feeling like that. They were like, well, he's not from New York. He's not from the streets. He doesn't fit our brand. And actually, the funny part was, the brand that Kanye was talking about was obviously a much more powerful brand than the clothing that was worn, you know, the baggy jeans with the throwback jerseys and stuff. That was a matter of time before they all switched that up too. So it is interesting and inspiring and gets you fired up if you're an artist, I think, because it does speak to believing in yourself. And even if you're whack, understanding that if you're whack and you keep pushing, you're going to run into somebody that's going to say, look, you need to work on this, or you need to work on that, or you need to tighten up this, you know? So yeah, Bootsy, keep on. The old Bootsy's back. And now you might as well be, man. You got a great new job. You got a couple jobs, man. You got 3 jobs. Are you Jamaican, man? You got 3 or 4 jobs, man.
Bulika. Hey.
Man, let's wrap it up, Bootsy. This show is so filled with good news. Let's wrap it up. Give us your parting shots as we say goodbye.
Have a great weekend. I hope y'all enjoyed that 70 degrees, because it's going to be snowing, raining later on tonight. So don't let Mother Nature and global warming scare you. Just stay in the house. It'll be over before you know it. Thank you again. Mark, I need to get on the phone with you ASAP, because there's a lot of stuff I need to learn really, really, really quick.
Oh, we got you, man. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow again. Tomorrow we'll hop on. Bootsy, Dr. Green, I think, is going to check in. And, we'll be talking about it's a weekend show, man. It's Friday, man. But also, there's a couple of things I wanted to show. On Friday, it's a weekend. We'll have fun. Like I said, around 10:15, I might dip out, but I'll be back. But thank you, Bootsy. And one more time, congratulations, my friend. We're proud of you, bro.
I'm going to go get a haircut now. ESPN.
All right. That's right.